Hey everybody, Cliff Ravenscraft here from gspn.tv and podcastanswerman.com. Hey, I wanted to let you know about what's going on here for Stephanie and I. Now, most of you already know that I just got back from a 4-day weekend in Boston with the folks over at SQPN at the Catholic New Media Celebration 2010. So, yeah, just got back from there. And the only thing that I regret about that trip, and I mean, seriously, the only thing I regret about that trip is the fact that Stephanie was not with me. Now, I will tell you, if you go and listen to the 4-part audio series where I talked about all the wonderful things that happened that weekend, which you can do, by the way, by going over to pursuingabalancedlife.com and check out episodes numbers 475 through 478. And you can listen to the whole thing. It's called My Catholic Weekend Parts 1 through 4. You'll probably know that I had a wonderful time, and there's a lot of great experiences that I had personally with Father Roderick that may not have happened had it been that Stephanie was there. But I still felt horrible, and that she was not experiencing this with me. And I've been to so many of these conferences where I go to so many of these places, and I go alone without Stephanie. And I decided that as soon as I saw this invitation come in for a special conference, that I wanted to take Stephanie. I wanted to go, and I wanted to take Stephanie with me. This is for Podcamp Boston 5. Now, Podcamp Boston has a lot of great things. The reason why I would want to go there, as far as the reasons why I would want to go there. First and foremost, it's where Podcamps first got started. If you don't know what Podcamp is, I encourage you to go to podcamp.org. podcamp.org. Go check it out. You'll see that there is a ton of information about Podcamp. However, Podcamp Boston 2 is the actual conference that really has a lot of emotional ties for me personally and professionally. The reason why is because it was in October of 2007, which was just months before I actually left my career and did podcasting full-time, or at least started and launched this business. In fact, it was during the period of time where I was in a 90-day notice of where I had already told my family-run agency that I was leaving the insurance world and going and pursuing this. And so it was a very, very crazy time in my life. There's a lot of anxiety going into this, and I will tell you, there is so many friendships that I made at Podcamp Boston that has really led to a lot of wonderful business and a lot of things that have helped make our business a great deal of success. And the relationships that were formed there and that have continued to grow since then are just out of this world. And I've been looking forward to going back to Podcamp Boston. I didn't realize, though, it would be just like 6 weeks after the Catholic New Media Celebration that I would be looking to do it. Now, here's the deal. I have a special fund that I've been saving for our business. It's actually it is a business fund for investing in projects and other things that will help, take our business to the next level. And I have 2 projects in mind. But I also had this idea that I wanted to take Stephanie to Podcamp Boston. The thing is, though, is if you've ever traveled to Boston and stayed in a hotel there or any of this other stuff, you know that it's not inexpensive. And the amount of this entire trip, had I taken Stephanie to Podcamp Boston with me, would have completely depleted our special fund that I have. And, when I thought about it, it's like I had a little of anxiety about it. I went to go start reserving our airline tickets, and I'm like, should I really do this? I mean, because these projects are pretty important. And then I decided that both professionally and personally in our marriage, this is going to be a huge investment. And, those projects, they can wait until 2011. It's not going to be the end of the world if I don't get to those right away. But something came to me. Father Roderick and I got together and threw a tweet up on Sunday. And at that tweet up, I ran into Steve Garfield, somebody who I had met at Podcamp Boston 2. And when I told him that I was thinking about coming to Podcamp Boston 5, and I said, I just got to look at the finances, but I think we're going to be able to pull it off. It'll be tight, but, I want to bring Stephanie back this time. And he says, you should. He goes, one of the things that I do from time to time is I'll get a company to sponsor me to attend, will sponsor me. And he says, what I'll do is at the end of the video, I'll just say, hey, special thanks to such and such company for making this trip possible. And so they get brand recognition and stuff like that. Well, I thought, wow, that's interesting. Now, of course, I had very little time to put this together, but I figured, why not give it a shot? If you want to hear the full story about how this all came about, I encourage you to go over to podcastanswerman.com and listen to episode number 174. But anyway, what I want to let you know is the folks over at divineoffice.org, especially Dane Faulkner, has really come through and is a major answer to prayer, because I just threw out as an afterthought in Podcast Answer Man episode number 173, hey, if anybody's out there, you have a business, you have a product or a service that you would like to promote, I'm looking for a potential sponsor for Stephanie and I to attend Podcamp Boston 5. Well, within a couple short days, Dane Faulkner actually contacted me and he says, Cliff, I'd be interested in sending some money your way for this. And let me tell you, I had just met Dane and his wife Mary Jo in Boston at the Catholic New Media Conference. In fact, what happened was they were actually there because they were sponsors for CNMC. They were one of the sponsors for CNMC, and including the sponsor of the podcasting track that I actually spoke at. And I actually got to know a lot about their ministry and what their heart is for bringing the world together in prayer. And while I'm not Catholic, and the idea of the liturgy of the hours and praying the hours is something that is somewhat of a foreign concept to me. I've been around my Catholic friends enough over at SQPN that I certainly know what it is. One of the things, though, is that I found out through Dane is that it's more ecumenical, and I can't say that word all that great, but anyway, it's a very ecumenical discipline, especially the way that they do things over at the divineoffice.org site, because it is very much open to all faiths. Their desire is to bring the entire Christian world together to pray and to have this discipline of praying without ceasing. And one of the things that I'm going to do to learn a little bit more about it and to maybe expose the rest of you to this a little bit further is that I'm actually going to record a special interview with Dane Faulkner and one other gentleman over at divineoffice.org and have them come on and actually answer some of my questions related to the liturgy of the hours and this whole ministry that they've got going on, surrounding the liturgy of the hours. So anyway, I'll be interested in bringing that to you. That's going to be About the Church podcast, episode number 118. Be on the lookout for that. Let me explain to you what's being sponsored by Divine Office and what they're allowing Stephanie and I to do. First and foremost, it is all expenses paid. We're talking about round-trip airfare for 2 to Boston. We're talking about hotel accommodations. We're talking about transportation and meal expenses while we're there. And not only that, but also they're covering the cost of extremely high-quality childcare for our 3 children who are between the ages of 5 and 10 years old, from a great personal friend of ours who we actually pay extremely well to care for our children while we're away. They're actually even including paying for our childcare for the entire 4 days that we're going to be gone. My friends, this is no small sponsorship. I mean, we're talking about for a ministry where pennies are tight, they're actually putting out a lot of money for this to be possible. But they really believe that that it's going to be a huge benefit for us to be able to go there for our business, and they're very much fans of GSPN.TV. Dane listens to Podcast Answer Man, listens to a lot of the other shows that I produce, and I love it when I'm able to have these relationships with businesses that sponsor me, because it's not just like a commercial. It's so much more. Well, I'm looking forward to sharing with you more about the divineoffice.org website, about their iPhone and iPad application. You definitely should check that out. Information is going to be on the website just below this video. If you're on the YouTube channel, please head over to gspn.tv/divineoffice. At the very least, folks, will you do me a favor and just say a very special thank you to Dane and the folks at divineoffice.org for sponsoring this event. It is a huge blessing to Stephanie and I hope that it'll be a blessing to you guys as you get to have the experience of us bringing, somewhat carefree and very relaxed and wonderful coverage from the weekend when we'll be going to Boston together. And I look forward to bringing all that glory to you guys in audio and video and tweeting and twit picking and all this other stuff. So anyway, looking forward to it. That's going to be Podcamp Boston 5. and that is the weekend of September 25th and 26th. If you're anywhere near the Boston area, please email me, let me know, and I'd love to make sure that we hook up with you while we're there, and that we get the chance to have a conversation. Anyway, God bless you all. Thank you, Dane. Thank you, folks over there at divineoffice.org. I really appreciate it.